Hey all, Bynx here, and today I have something really special for you. Last weekend, I took part in the Snap Battles Assemble Showmatch series. It was powered by Rally Cry. It was this really awesome, well-curated event that had professional casting, professional graphics. It was super fun, and I was matched up against both DeraJN and Eggs, two other amazing content creators and Marvel Snap streamers. Today, I'm bringing you the first best of 3 match that I had against Dera. He is just one of the most innovative deck builders. He's been a Metabreaker, creating kind of new decks that have taken over ladder, and just overall one of the best players in Marvel Snap. I super respect what he does, so it was really awesome to get a shot at taking him down. I thought that the matches were incredibly competitive. A lot of people said that the way that we were kind of playing super aggressively, snapping aggressively, was like we were throwing haymakers, and a lot of people said that this was their favorite match of the entire tournament. But I'll definitely let you decide that yourself. If you are interested in any of the casters, Raven and Falcone cast this, the tournament, or Dera himself, I will post all of their information down below. As always, if you're enjoying this content, make sure to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure to check down below. Subscribe for daily Marvel Snap content. You can catch me live either here on YouTube or at twitch.tv/Bynx_plays. Enjoy.
But regardless, we could talk about the meta and strategies for a long time, but instead we're going to talk about some other players that could also talk about meta and strategies for a long time. We've got Dera on the top versus Bynx on the bottom, and already I'm seeing Dr. Octopus and She-Hulk, so I like what I see from Bynx.
Yep, straight away getting that Scorpion out nice and early. You love to see that. Dera is running Dracula as well, so this is looking like a deck that's a little bit more similar to what you'd been running, Raven. Lots of big things.
Yeah, I imagine with the Zero, we are going to see the sort of Shuri Red Skull potential, at least, which is something I was kind of avoiding, honestly. I think the deck's a little bit too one-sided for my liking, but I will say Dr. Octopus seems to be the hit so far. I got to Dr. Octopus on my own, so I didn't really test with anyone or talk about deck building with anyone particular. And it's nice to see other good players have agreed with me, so I'm pretty happy about this.
Oh yeah, Doc Ock is insane. Because I think I heard you talking about this on Kawa's stream a couple days ago. It's just good. It's just good in most decks at the moment.
It not only pulls combos out, but also in battle mode, it gives you, if you play it in the first round, you gain so much knowledge of what's in your opponent's hand and deck that you can just build on that. But also, just yoinking like combos out of the way is just super valuable indeed.
And here we go. Speaking of which, Bynx is going to deny any invisible woman shenanigans going on here.
Dracula gonna go down. Okay, that's quite funny. Not that it matters, but still.
No. And Bynx does have Shang-Chi ready to follow up a little bit later if he wants to. But no, we got Doc Ock on the other side.
I was going to say, it's Doc Ock.
What order is this happening in, though? Okay, Shang-Chi, then Cosmo. That's important.
Oh, yeah, because there was Cosmo as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if that happened the other way around, Bynx would not have been very happy about this.
And what a weird point here, because now you would think, looking at that Bynx is super ahead, but not necessarily true, right? There's only 10 power mid, both players playing off the top of the deck, but Dera does have Zero and Typhoid Mary, although I doubt he will
and
play
Shuri
them in
as well,
that
right?
order, like because you probably want to Shuri
effect.
is he going to play Zero first?
I'd be looking at... then again, I was thinking of playing Typhoid Mary in Lemuria, but if he did that, and Bynx gets the Mjolnir proc, then he'd still win that location.
No, there's no Mjolnir. Cosmo.
Oh, of course.
So
oh,
it's
yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
So I think you definitely Typhoid Mary, right? And the problem with Typhoid Mary, right, is if Dera doesn't draw something big on turn 6, then Dracula's going to whiff and probably lose, right? So this is probably the issue that Dera's having. Was that just a pass from Dera? Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty sweet because he's going to have the energy to play everything regardless. And again, he's got Dracula to fall back on. Heimdall for Bynx. That is fascinating. Wow. The problem is you don't know how Bynx doesn't know how strong that Dracula's going to get.
He doesn't, but an extra... If you're going to Heimdall at all, I think you Heimdall mid, right? To put the She-Hulk there. to just say Dracula has to be 10. And even if it is 10, it's a draw.
Yeah.
This is okay.
Do you ever expect Dracula to be 14 or 20? Or 12 or 14 or 20, like Gigantus or Giganto or
I think with this,
Giganto.
with seeing the Shuri, you'd very much
Red
expect Typhoid Mary or Red Skull at this point.
Yeah.
Because Taskmaster isn't an issue, obviously, because that's 0. There's not many cards left. So I think this is just, if you're going to Heimdall, this is the best way to do it, I think.
Yep. It's not going to be enough, though, or is it? Oh, it.
Just sure.
What was I looking at there? Why did I think that Dera had more power than that?
So,
because of Typhoid Mary. Did Typhoid Mary?
Yeah,
Wait.
Typhoid Mary cuts everything down by 1. The only weird thing there is, did we miss where the Shuri went?
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by all of that interaction, actually. I thought 0 procced on the Typhoid Mary, and so I was confused as to why Typhoid Mary hit everything else. Huh. Either way, 8
Something
cubes
happened.
down.
Yeah, I mean, we're again like one of the, it's difficult to piece together things because obviously we don't see movements from, for example, Dera's side, just because of the way we observe the matches. So it's difficult when you don't see the player, like putting the cards down in a certain order. But I think it was the it was the Dr. Octopus, right? That got Shang-Chi'd, which feels like an age ago.
Oh,
it was the
right.
Dr. Octopus that got Shuri'd. We're forgetting because that got Shang-Chi'd, but because the game went on for so long, it felt like I just forgot Dr. Octopus was a thing. But anyway, we are moving into the next round here, and Dera, 2 health and a dream. It's not looking good.
Yeah, a very big win for Bynx there. Taking 8 cubes off of your opponent in battle mode is not easy. It pretty much comes down to those cooler situations where obviously you think you win, and so you play it on, and then you get the rug pulled out from under you.
It's normally pretty slim margins as well, because everyone playing in this is very experienced. So it's like you have to be very confident to play an 8 cube game, but then both players are confident, which means there's normally just like tiny things that make the difference. Yeah, though, Scorpion into Thor into Shuri seems as solid as you want to get. I will say one card that definitely got me good in my previous match was Aero. It really did mess me up. I brought Dr. Octopus in the slots I would have played Aero in. I'm like, I really can't decide which one I prefer.
Speaking of Dr. Octopus, both players now have access to it. Bynx, though, he is going to go with Doc Ock. I thought he was going to forego it for Aero there. Wait, did Dera play the Shuri in the Invisible Woman way? Or am I making that Shuri up?
I don't know. I wasn't watching for a second. But regardless, there's a giant Dr. Octopus onto Dr. Octopus, which will yet again pull a Shang-Chi, except this time won't do anything because Arm is going to be there.
Oh my
god! See the reveal anyway.
Look at this madness with the Arrow dragging everything into that lane as well.
Yeah, there's no Shuri, right? Because Maximus just drew it.
Oh, okay. I must have been looking at the wrong side for a second.
Okay, so Cosmo and a Dream. This one's going to be tough. It's a little bit too power heavy on the right here for Bynx. But Bynx doesn't really care. Again, this is the situation I've talked a lot about, and one of the most sort of glaring things I did not think about until I started playing battle mode a lot was Bynx just never has to worry about snapping, never has to worry about retreating, right? He just keeps playing until he gets a game, even if there's a 5% chance to win. He just plays it anyway because there's no difference either way.
Yeah, the early advantage is a really big deal in this game mode. Dera's gonna go ahead and empty his hand into that left lane.
Yep. And just not a lot. And that's why a deck like this is so brutal as well. You can actually get so much done. There's Zabu coming down there, just allowing so many things to be done. I was going to say, like, we were playing without Zabu, but the deck I was playing with She-Hulk is so much stronger when you have Zabu available. Because you can, like, Moon Girl and Shang-Chi in the same turn along with something else. It gets super brutal, but...
Yeah.
Yep. There's the... we're only in round 4 now, right? So it's not actually a
Isn't it round?
Four,
I think it's round
2 cubes.
3. It's round 3.
round 3. Sorry, yeah. So like this Bynx, I think, is doing it where he just keeps snapping because he keeps wanting Dera to play for the game, basically, which I really like to see.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. It leaves Dara with the decision. He can, if Dara chooses to retreat immediately, then suddenly Bynx can only lose 1 cube per game. Actually, no, I think when he goes to high stakes, it is a minimum of 2 cubes, even if your opponent only has 1 HP.
Yes, it is.
It?
Yeah. Lizard gonna slither into the Baxter building there. Maximus getting away with some nice, kind of free extra power, basically, because of nowhere, not really proccing Maximus's drawback. And just look at what's available for Dara now. Drac for 2, you know, Invisible Woman to set up the Dracula to protect if he wants. Not that you can really negatively interact with Dracula outside of Magneto.
Invisible Woman is low-key one of my favorite tech cards in Marvel Snap, just because it's one of those cards that does allow you to steal more cubes from your opponent. Just hiding information is very valuable.
Yeah, I don't think the card's too strong. It might even be just a smidge on the sort of weaker end of town, but the fact that it exists is worth it, right? Because you always have the option to, do I need to hide this? Okay, I'll put Invisible Woman in the deck. So that's something I like to see, where cards, you know, they're not just either powerful or weak, but they're just like situational to what you want to do.
I mean, there's that, and also just the ability to make sure your card activates after your opponent's cards in that lane can be...
which is coming soon, maybe, to a card near us.
Yeah.
Since a certain new card that may be coming out soon is going to make you reveal second.
All right, this time, Dara's Doc Ock is not going to be... Oh, hang on. Let's put it back in his hand.
Oh, is Dara not passing this turn?
He has decided to pass this turn now.
Yes. Okay.
So it's going to be Doc Ock and She-Hulk.
I think it's going to be She-Hulk 0 armor Enchantress, isn't it? And just let Dracula eat the Doc.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because pulling stuff out on turn 6 doesn't often achieve what you want it to, unless your opponent has Dracula.
Last turn, he was hovering over Doc Ock, playing it on nowhere.
Oh, sure.
But, you know, you're right. Emptying the rest of the hand makes a lot more sense.
And I weirdly like emptying the hand in Sewer System.
Okay.
Which might be odd, but I think it's the most unlikely place to play because the Invisible Woman's mid.
Yeah. So just give up the middle lane and go for the other 2. Oh, he's can't make his mind up here.
Oh, and I miscounted a little bit because I forgot armor was Iceman, so he can't completely empty the hand, which is now the problem. If he could empty his hand and leave Doc Ock, he would have done it by now 100%, but I didn't notice that armor was actually 3 energy, which is a nightmare. Maybe now it is like Doc Ock mid and She-Hulk, I don't know now.
Oh yeah, or even just She-Hulk and pass to buff up Sunspot and still discard something with Dracula. Maybe just getting extra power with Sunspot is worth it here.
Oh,
nope.
Doc Ock mid, She-Hulk right. Is that crazy? Oh, he's just going to roll the dice, leave the Enchantress out and say at worst Dracula gets 4. Yeah, but there's the arrow going to fling everything across, and Dracula now, I think, could really do with hitting the occupier, Dr. Octopus. Oh, not that it makes a difference now.
Just
it's too low.
Matter.
Yeah, it's just 20. It's just 10. Yeah. So it's only 22 or 21 there. That's not going to be enough, and Bynx takes not only the victory there, but also the first match. Right, that is just a pretty straightforward victory for Bynx after that 8-cube win. Just piling on the pressure with those like low snaps, even on round whatever it was, round 4, 3, whatever it was.
It really does. Game. As you said before, it really does put your opponent in a precarious position when you couldn't take 8 cubes. I did it in my first game against Den, I think, and it just, for the rest of the match, it just felt like the stakes were really low for me. I'm just like, sure, I'll lose this one, big deal. But there you go, 1 round to Bynx. I know that a lot of people in the chat right now are going to be really excited about that. We'll see if Dara can pull this one back. I don't have any idea what the other decks that these guys have got is, but now we've seen a little taste. I'm excited to see more.
For me, if Dera, because again, I think I'm 99% sure the whole no Zabu Silver Surfer was between the European players. But if Dera, because Dera had Zabu, right?
So, he did.
You're right. If Dera had Zabu, and they're all just said play what you want, I am ready for just Darkhawk Zabu. So I ran 2 single deck tournaments on my channel for the past few days ago. Both of them, even though we saw move decks do well, we saw Cerebro 3 do well, and so on, both were just won in pretty convincing fashion by Darkhawk Zabu. So if Dera's got that and brought it, he needs to win the next one, so just lock it in.
Raven, I'm not going to spoil, but I've seen the name of the deck that Dera is bringing. It's not on the feed anymore. You won't catch it. But I know exactly what Dera's playing, and prepare for a surprise.
Okay, it's one thing I will say as well. Dera been playing for a long time, since pretty much the start of beta, like a lot of us, and he has built a lot of good decks. So if there's ever a time where, like, you know, Dera's gonna pull something out of the bag, okay.
That being said, wait, is it similar? Wait, is this?
He's just playing this.
This is.
I think he's just playing the same deck again, right?
In that case,
he lost, so he can.
We didn't see the card that the deck is named after. I'll put it that way.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this looks like he's just queued the same deck once again. Doesn't want to mix it up a little bit. And Bynx doing something. Was this a wrong deck queue and maybe they're rematching? I don't know. Because there's no world in which Bynx would just concede, right?
Well, what? We're back in it now. There's been
this is a different deck. It is a different deck, sorry. Okay. The invisible girl threw me off.
Right, okay. Right, back to what I was saying before. This is a different deck with a very key card that we still haven't seen. I'll take
trying to say Zabu isn't
that.
a key card, Falk?
It's a key card. It's not the key card in this deck. I'm still no idea what happened in that first game. I wonder why Bynx just
maybe he's just giving Dera a chance. And you know what? I'm so far ahead. You can have a cube. Here's a cube on me.
Oh, I mean, we're playing for 4 cubes already in game 2 now.
Okay. Zabu dropping down onto Big House. I was gonna say Nowhere normally feels a little bit better. You are not as limited with with Big House now because of Zabu, but drop it down into Nowhere means that you can't get Enchantress, you can't get Rogued or anything like that. But there's Darkhawk. Hela. Was that the card you were thinking about?
Yeah, the deck was called Hela. So I spent this whole time like, where's Hela then? There it is.
Yeah, if you told me the name of the card, I would have been like, okay, he's definitely not playing the same deck. but yeah, we will have to see how this one goes.
We haven't been very specific on the amount of overlap that's allowed, you know, like Zabu and Dracula and Invisible Woman. Like, I wonder where the line is.
Well, look, the line is in Europe, Falk, because I felt like we all played honorably and played very different decks, whereas, you know, the American players, slaves to the meta as always. I'm only joking.
It begins.
Yeah, I'm only joking.
A tale as old as time. European casters insulting American players.
If the shoe fits. Darkhawk and Omega Red, though, on the left is looking quite strong, even versus the the Dracula on Big House. Dracula always a threat, but against this kind of power, maybe not so, with Spectrum available for mid as well. And I'll tell you what, if Bynx gets to lock up Nowhere, he's going to be feeling very, very confident.
Yeah, he's just looking really good in general. Again, Darkhawk and Omega Red are a pretty brutal combo. I guess it's really going to depend how much power Dera can get from that Dracula.
It looks like... Ooh, I think Dera's just stopped at Hellcow. No, he's going all in. Hellcow and Sif. This is going to discard 3 cards due to the ordering. Oh, it always hits Hela.
Yep.
And now Sif will hit Death, which guarantees Dracula for Infinite. Not terrible.
It does, and Magneto can be played in the middle. Does Dera win this? Oh my gosh, we got a Luke Cage in Bynx's hand. What is going on?
I think he's trying to work out what's better about Spectrum, right? Because Spectrum is going to hit 3 cards, but if Bynx Spectrums, he can't fill the big house.
It's gonna hit 5 cards. It would hit the Professor X and Zabu too. I guess that's not as relevant.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I wasn't really looking at nowhere because I know it's
Yeah.
1. But yeah, this is going to be interesting because now the Magneto does not move, but there's definitely not going to be enough, like, tons of extra power to buff this, right?
Oh yeah, it's a
There's gonna
tie
be
in the
26
middle.
left. And the win because it pulls the power away from mid. Dera is actually just going to take a smooth 8 cubes, I think that was.
What is it with these huge 8 cubes games
It's-
over here?
So
in
basically,
region?
I'm going to assume what's happened is someone said, we're behind schedule, snap attack, go. Or both players just really want to get cooking and start playing for the big cube amounts. But straight back in, Infinite versus Darkhawk.
Well, one is a little stronger than the other.
And one gets weak over time, unfortunately.
Bar with no name. There it is. That's going to shake things up a little bit for this game. Is there any weird stuff Bynx can do with Hazmat and Wong and Typhoid Mary to, like, get negative power in Bar with no name? Oh, with a rock, surely.
Oh, Subterranean with Darkhawk. Insane. And yeah, I think Bynx could just play Ant-Man mid, right? Yeah, there you go. It's showing us. Ant-Man mid is only 1, and then he just goes Wong Hazmat. Yeah, thank you, Bynx, for highlighting your plan for us.
Oh, again, just a rock. A rock would do the same thing.
But
Rock with a single
the,
Hazmat.
the funny thing here is I actually think it's not as relevant to do some fancy combo to win bar, because Bynx has seen that Dera's playing Hela. So I'm pretty sure from Dera's side of it, if you're playing Hela, just play as if bar with no name doesn't exist, right?
Yep.
It's very similar where if one of these locations was Sinister London and there's a bar with no name, I just play it as if I've lost bar with no name and I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, gonna pull the Darkhawk mid though with the Magneto. This is nice.
Well, that ruined Bynx's plans a little.
Yeah.
Although Darkhawk is going to get smaller still.
Yeah. And there's still Hazmat for -4.
Yeah, still Ant-Man and Hazmat and potentially a rock.
Yeah, this is fine, right? Because -4 is already equal in mid. And next turn, a card's going to be drawn.
His opponent will lose power as well in the mid, though.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Of course. So yeah, so it will be even.
But Darkhawk will lose 2 power next turn when Dera draws a card. So it's and with Ant-Man as well, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's
Bar
yeah,
with no
'cause-
name
'cause-
really factoring in this game.
Yeah, because the Ant-Man breaks the parity, right, between the location of 2 cards versus 2 cards, whereas now Hazmat's hitting 3, which means it's going to minus more power than on Dera. Bit of a
Isn't it
weird
ironic
game.
that this is the one game ever where Bynx probably wouldn't mind drawing a rock and he just hasn't drawn any of them? I mean, Omega Red is going to swing things the other way again.
Oh, this is so funny though. It's just funny because like the Spectrum draw, and it's like, the one time I don't want Spectrum because Zabu, Ant-Man, and Darkhawk's mid. It's gonna be a lock, and I'm pretty sure 36 is a bigger number by a mile than the 6-2 difference on the other side.
Yep, that's big enough. And so Dara is going to take the second round, which means we are going all the way to round 3 one more time. And I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen so far. These have been some wacky different decks, and Bar with no name certainly mixed things up a little bit there.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I like when these locations start to get very strange and you play in odd ways. Like I had an instance of that in my match at the beginning, I think the first match, where I was doing weird things with like Thor and like whether I lose or win the whatever the middle was it bar with no name? Maybe it was. And it was just like, playing around with the numbers and saying, well, it's fine if I Dr. Octopus it, even if my Dr. Octopus is big, because theirs is probably stuff's going to be bigger, and if not, I've still taken out resources so I can win the other 2 locations.
Right.
So I think ones like that where you're not meant to play on them particularly, but you can create really interesting sort of situations and puzzles to solve.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we are just about to start game 3 now. I didn't see any of the deck names this time, so no spoilers. But
Here we go. Oh, 2 different decks, right?
very
Looks like.
interesting. Look at Dera's hand. Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, Sarah,
Yeah,
Bynx.
It's
A man
movement
after my own
surfer,
heart.
right?
Huh?
Isn't Dera playing movement surfer?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Already a snap.
I think, yeah. The funny thing about this one, because it's Galactus and with Electro, I don't even know who snapped. Because if I was Dera, I would snap because it's Kamatage. And if he's playing Surfer, great. But then if Bynx could snap as well because he gets the Electro Kamatage anyway.
Oh, it was Bynx for sure. If Dera's just going to storm Kamatage
Yeah, if he's
away
storming it,
regardless.
then yeah, it was Bynx.
But yeah, Bynx now able to play Galactus, I believe, immediately. Going to drop that down. And what's he got to follow it up with then? Magneto, Odin, Arrow. They're not the best follow-ups to Galactus I've ever seen, but Dera's going to have his work cut out for him.
I do love this Galactus deck though, because in this mode, I think it's something that like I talked about when I was casting your matches actually, where if Galactus is the only thing you can do and your opponent has a counter, I don't know how you're supposed to win, right? If your whole deck is just Galactus, you need at least something to be able to, get some kind of win. Like, because you were playing like Shuri Dr. Octopus, right? And like with Death. So like you can do other things. Whereas the decks that are just all in on Galactus is like, well, what if your opponent plays Cosmo?
Yeah, I
you
feel
know
like
what I mean? It's like you just lose. Or
I feel
like Arrow or whatever.
Goblin Galactus decks have sort of fallen out of favor for that very reason.
Whereas if you look at Bynx, obviously he's played Galactus, he's done that job, but there's Magneto, Doom, Odin, Arrow. There's a lot of things that, work outside the range of just Galactus alone.
And he's pretty lucky that Dera doesn't have any sign of anything that's going to beat Bynx here. There's no Shang-Chi. There's nothing huge that Dera can play.
Wait, did... Oh, it was Snap that was going into... Okay. Because there, Bynx also did something pretty good, whether it was on purpose or not. He played Galactus, he played Electro, and he played Sunspot, yeah?
Yeah.
He didn't play Magneto, Arrow, Doom, Black Widow, right? So he has
so his opponent has
all
no
these
idea,
cards in the pocket that Dera just doesn't know about. Oof, Leech, don't look, Falc. It's the Leech of fun.
Oh, Leech! Oh,
Yeah.
oh dear. Oh yeah, no agreements in this region. Oof. I've never seen this Black Widow.
I think that's
variant.
Max Grecki Black Widow.
It's really nice.
Yeah, Grecki, one of my favorite artists. I want the Vision. It's the best
Wait,
Vision by.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
I believe it's Grecki. Yeah, someone can no doubt correct me, but I am fairly sure.
I've been saying Max Greek all this time.
Well, you're an idiot. There you go. Jeez, learn people's names, Falc. God.
I have to remake about 100 shorts. Be right back.
Learn people's names, Falcon. Leech, though, coming down.
Yeah, although Dara is looking like he's going to be playing Sarah on the same turn in Onslaught Citadel, which isn't going to completely make up for it. Silver Surfer's dead, but Heimdall's going to be pretty strong.
This is brutal because the amount of times me and Dara have talked about people need to just start Silver Surfering on like 5 or earlier because of the Leech meta. We were like, we've said it so many times. It's like, but people are I was gonna say crying, complaining about Leech when they're playing Surfer because every game they play Sarah on 5 and try and do Surfer things on 6 and then they lose. It's like, well, what if you just Surfered on 5? Because you'd still gain a good amount of stats and you don't just lose to Leech. But
Dara has no idea that this is coming.
But yeah, exactly, and that's the big deal, right? Because this is only round 2. Like in round 1, these cards were not revealed, so this Leech is now news, and I have no doubt going forward, Dera will be play a little bit more fast and loose with the Silver Surfer. If, for example, he goes to Brood and then Silver Surfer to win a location and then carry on with the rest of the game to dodge Leech, I think that's something he'll definitely try and do.
Dara's in a really weird situation here because he's seen such an eclectic combination of cards at this point. Like, obviously, in the first round, he was like, oh, okay, it's a Galactus deck. And now, as you said, he's seeing all of this other stuff. Black Widow, Leech. Okay, what's coming next?
You also quickly realize that Dara's probably sat thinking, my opponent's playing all this rubbish and they just Galactused me in game one. You know what I mean? You'd be like, how did they just pull that off? Electro into Galactus when the only Galactus cards they have are Electro and Galactus. It's like, Heimdall gonna come out to play now though.
All right.
He put that power on the right. Storm gonna help out as well.
Arrow hits the Heimdall, which actually helps out Dara more than Bynx.
But Magneto can split this, right?
Yep.
Magneto's rubbish. Never mind. I forgot about the peak. If Magneto was 12, you could play like Magneto left or right, pull some of the broods away. Pull some of the broods away, and then you win mid, right? But he can't because the peak's just completely dumpster the Magneto. Never mind.
So Bynx is gonna have to retreat, and if he does this, he's gonna be losing 4 cubes. Yeah, there he goes. Oof. Really painful. That seemed like a really strong start for Bynx, but that game definitely backfired. The arrow pulled the wrong card. And now we have a Sinister London game and an instant snap.
Yeah. Sinister London is when the game gets real interesting.
It's one of the few problems with casting Marvel snaps so far I've noticed is that I don't think we can tell which one of them. I don't think it's possible for us to know which one of them snapped. Apart from deduction.
Yes, it's definitely odd, isn't it? Because even if you had 2 cubes showing, the cube just flashes. You'd have to keep an eye on the mouse cursor, right, to know. But yeah,
I think we know who snaps now.
Yeah,
it was Bynx.
Yeah, Dara saying no, thank you. I will not play for 2 cubes here on Sinister London. And again, I think I can understand that because if he's playing the sort of move Silver Surfer, the Sinister London doesn't do too much because it clogs up the board really quickly, which doesn't give Heimdall the opportunity to mess around, or Arrow, or Juggernaut, any of these things where it can actually mess with your opponent or his own movement.
They've both snapped. Like They've both snapped with Limbo.
Okay. Neither player has anything that can alter Limbo, right? So this
no, Bynx has Storm.
Oh yeah.
And Bynx also has Galactus. Sorry, Dara has Storm. Bynx has
Yep.
Galactus. Galactus can kill Limbo.
Oh god.
So
Altar of Death. Build your own Galactus mana.
that was what happened in the 8-cube game between me and Den earlier. Actually, he used the Reality Stone on Limbo on turn 6,
and you somehow won.
I predicted it. I knew it was coming.
Easy to say after the fact, Falc. Easy to say after the fact. But yeah, Broodling's going to come down on the Altar of Death, not only giving Dara 2 extra energy to play around with, but also just getting some cards to stick there, which means he doesn't really have to play Storm. It is funny though, right? Because even though Dara's running the Silver Surfer, he probably does want to Storm Kamatage.
Yep. There it goes.
All his other, he's playing movement, so he wants to, give Bynx as little time as possible to fill this location. So you just get the Juggernaut combo as well down. Not that you needed it, but there you go. Oh, this is brutal though. Is Bynx going to Galactus Limbo? Because I'm just thinking, like, Bynx has gone effectively pass, Leech in a location he is never winning. So surely.
Yeah, I mean, if he plays Galactus on Limbo, he gets an extra turn. He can follow it up with, I mean, I guess Magneto is the best he's gonna have, but he probably knows that his opponent. No, he's not even doing that. Is he going for a draw? Magneto on Limbo and then Galactus on Altar of Death on turn 7.
That might backfire though, right? Because there's 4 cards now that can move to Limbo. So if any one card is
No, Not anymore. Wait. Oh, it's not. It
Yeah.
got leached.
Yeah.
Calm down.
So there's still going to be, well, there's a chance. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Is Bynx really playing for a draw here?
I don't see what else he could be doing. But Dara has arrow.
Oh, wait.
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange?
No, the arrows, he could just try and win by more on the left, right? He's only losing by 4 mid.
Yeah, but if Bynx plays Galactus, the other locations won't exist anymore.
Yeah, sorry, I mean in Bynx can try and win Limbo by more.
Sure.
Because Dara's only winning by 4 in Flooded. If you assume nothing's going to live in Altar, then, because you've seen Broodlings. Oh, the Doctor Strange, yeah, it's leached anyway, doesn't matter. Silver Surfer going to pop off.
Yeah, it's just going to be a draw.
Yep, simply a draw.
Amazing. How exciting!
I was that is very, very interesting, actually, yeah.
So what were you
Like,
thinking that Bynx could do to win?
Well, Bynx could have maybe gone Devil Dinosaur, maybe gone Dr. Octopus, whatever was more power on the left, and just say, Dara can't stick anything right. Bynx had leached, so he could have just assumed that Silver Surfer wasn't going to hit.
Right.
And tried to win that way, but I guess if Bynx is okay taking a draw, he's okay taking a draw.
Well, we're now in high stakes. It's round 5.
Yeah, Nova Roma, like,
Hurrah.
I would say arguably better for Dara than it is Bynx in this scenario.
The raft could be pretty key here. It's up to Dara if he wants to destroy it with Storm, but Dara should be...
Vulture into Wakandan Embassy. Oh, can I go Storm? You never destroy Raft. Dara's playing Brood.
Yeah.
Bynx is playing about 18 6-drops.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure, yeah, Dara wants that Raft active at all times. I was actually kind of surprised he didn't just play like Vulture into Wakanda Embassy there because of the Iron Fist.
Sure.
But again, he gets the Storm left and he plays a deck with Heimdall in it, right? So
Yep. It should be, in theory, an easy location for him to win. Again, that's assuming there's no Galactus played this game. But Dara is running an arrow, which should be able to counter Galactus quite easily if it doesn't get leached. But nope, Bynx is out of here.
Gonna step out, yep. And it's understandable, right? Like, Bynx can't really play anything to Flooded. That's just lost instantly. The Galactus player wasn't really going to make it either, so... It's going to be Bynx slipping away for now. And again, just a reminder, this series is a best of 3, both players at 1-1 now.
Is he going to retreat? It looked like Dara was about to retreat immediately.
I would be amazed.
Yep, he's out. He's going.
My God. A world exists now where a player has retreated with Brood Silver Surfer in hand. That happened. We were all here. We all witnessed it.
All right. Well, this time, yeah, Bynx is really... We get it. It's a great variant. Yep.
It's not inked though, so it's definitely less cool. Bynx also definitely did not get the memo to not do that, so we can keep seeing the game board.
It's alright, he's showboating. It's fine. Just...
At least showboat with a collector token variant, like a...
Project Pegasus. That means Galactus is playable right now.
That's pretty good for a Galactus deck, yep.
But Dara, way ahead of this situation, is going to go ahead and play Storm and Sarah.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Because this isn't a Galactus deck, really, well, there's no death, and there's not enough even cards for death to be relevant. There's nothing, right? So, like, Dara's like, okay, play Galactus. He guessed, he got the location right. Now he's got a lot of power. Bynx has 1 turn, and like I said, Bynx's deck is like at 8,000 6-drops. Like, there's no great follow-up at this point. This might have been Bynx just going a little bit too soon, too fast. I think that's not only a victory, but isn't that
that is the match. Game, set,
That is all of
and
it, right?
match.
That was.
Dara
Yeah,
takes
wow,
this
just
one
like that.
down.
Yeah, what a great set of games there as well. There's definitely strange things going on, and I think you can tell. Like, yes, we had Zabu, yes, we had Surfer, you know, we had this and that, whatever. But the players did mix it up a little bit, and I do think there's something to be said that battle mode doesn't completely mean you just, oh, what's the best deck on ladder? Oh, you just bring it, done. Because yes, no doubt Zabu Darkhawk would be strong, but if someone just builds a deck that's like, you know, or builds their decks with that in mind, then like you're not as invulnerable as you think you are, you know, because it's not ladder. So a really crazy series there, honestly.
Super interesting though. It was, you sort of foretold how that series was going to go early when you were talking about information and how, you know, at the start Bynx was hiding all of this information, and then when Dara got to grips with what he was up against, he started to get a little bit more of an edge. And yeah, it was really exciting to watch. Congratulations, Dara, winning his one and only match of the day. Although I believe he's joining us in the casting desk later.
I don't know. I know Bynx is. I don't know about Dara though. Dara might be too busy for us. Falcone might be too busy, I'm not sure. But what we're not too busy for is a break while we get set up for the next match. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Make sure to subscribe. Watch that one too.